All right, so the next step, you're going to be using a different material. You're going to have purple, you're going to have blue, and you're going to have white oil pastels. All right, these are like greasy crayons, and they resist the chalk in an interesting way. You're going to feel it, the texture of it feels a lot different. And we're going to use the oil pastels to build the clouds. Now remember, the stuff that's in the front of the picture is going to be big and bold. The stuff in the back is going to be small and light. And what you're going to do first is you're going to use your white, and you want to start adding clouds. And really, in the distance, they're just going to be like little minus signs. And you want to kind of work your way down at the bottom. You're going to see a lot of these. And as I go up in the picture, I'm going to start to make them bigger because they're getting closer to us. So you've got the middle. All right, and then I could see some, maybe they go off the paper in spots. And by the time I get up to the top, they're going to be the biggest yet. You may have one that goes almost across the paper, and you also want them to get taller as well. So you're talking about width, and you're talking about height for those cloud shapes. Now, when you do it, if you looked at the quilt design that we saw, they were pretty blocky. It's almost like they're Minecraft clouds. Nobody in here likes Minecraft, do they? Yeah, I didn't think so. But when you do it, so you can see I can, if I want to change the shapes a little bit, I can add a little bit more detail to them, kind of like in a blocky way. So they're a little bit different than clouds you would see in the sky, but that way it's similar to the quilt design a little bit. All right, so you can see how I'm kind of doing that. Right, just kind of changing them a little bit, giving them a little bit of variety. All right. Now, using you can see also that I press pretty hard so that it looks white. If you do something like this, it's not going to really be bold enough for this next part to work, right? Because what you're going to be doing is creating tints of the cloud colors. We're using the purple and the blue, or just one of them. What you can do is in the distance, you just very softly kind of add that color to it. All right, and as you get further and further, or shall I say closer and closer, you're going to be pressing harder with that, because as things get closer to you, they're going to get bolder and darker. Now, if you happen to go too hard, you can always go in and lighten it up with a little bit of white. All right, so you make the tint lighter. Or if I happen to press too hard there, I can take the white and I can add it to make it softer. Voila! Right, so if I want some of the clouds to be tints of purple, I can do that. All right, you don't want to have too few clouds in your sky, right? Especially down at the bottom. You're going to see more down here and less up here because they're bigger and they fill more of the space. Now, this is something that you don't see in the quilt. But if you want to, you can do this next step, where if I want the cloud to look a little bit more 3D, I'm going to press a little harder at the bottom there so it looks like it's a shadow on the bottom. Right? Like I said, you don't necessarily have to do that, but it adds a layer of realism to it. And again, you can see how there's this oil pastel, the little fragments there. And again, what you want to do is pick it up, hold it vertically between you and your neighbor, and drop it on the floor. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Once you get to this point, you're done. You're going to put these oil pastels in the bin at the center table, and then you're going to be ready for your exit slip, ladies and gentlemen, which is going to have 3 questions that you're going to answer. Number 1, how did you make tints of colors in your landscape? Number 2, what is different about the front, the foreground of the picture, and the back? What changes between the front and the back? And number 3, how is your drawing of this sky landscape different than Catherine's quilt landscape? I'd like you to answer those in complete sentences.